Association of Realtors has agreed to pay $418 million in damages to settle class action antitrust lawsuits over broker commissions.
If you're a home buyer, somebody or a young person looking to buy a home, you need a bit of a reset.
There is a possibility on the other side of this that inflation could actually be quite low.
Is this the end of realtors? Is this new settlement going to change the entire real estate industry as a result? The answer to that question is no. The settlement lacks any type of significant teeth to actually permanently help the industry as far as protecting consumers. And today, you guys, we're going to go over all of those things, how the new potential settlement is going to affect sellers, buyers, the industry in whole, home builders. And we're also going to listen to a video from the Redfin CEO, Glenn Kelman, and he's going to explain what he thinks is going to happen next in the industry. But I'm going to tell you guys again, initially, I think this is just going to hurt buyers. And I eventually think that the industry will absorb any potential new changes and then just go back to business as normal. Because there's no cap on commissions, technically, realtors can still charge 8% commission, even with the settlement. So nothing has changed except they can't put commission on the MLS. That's it. The industry is going to find another way to offer commission to buyers agents. Mark my words. But regardless, I hope you guys enjoy this video.
The National Association of Realtors has agreed to pay $418 million in damages to settle class action antitrust lawsuits over broker commissions. That money will go first to pay the plaintiffs' lawyer fees and then will go to the class. The settlement, though, makes clear that NAR is denying any wrongdoing. Now, the lawsuits argued that NAR, with its more than 1 million brokerage members, violated antitrust laws by setting certain requirements that led to a standard commission. The settlement now bans the NAR from making any set rules that would let a seller's agent compensate for a buyer's agent. The norm had been the 5 to 6% commissions, although the NAR said in a call today that they vehemently denied that there are any set commissions, saying they are always negotiable. But what this means is that the agent market will now get much more competitive, which could in turn lower commissions. That could, of course, have an effect on home prices because sellers and buyers generally factor in the cost of the commission depending on the selling price. If they have to pay less commission, the seller can lower the price, or the buyer could actually just offer less. Now, in addition, on the MLS, the listing service for all homes, the settlement says all fields that show broker compensation have to be wiped out. And there's also a ban on the requirement that agents subscribe to MLSs in the first place in order to get commissions. So this could have huge ramifications for membership to the NAR, which as of now is one of the most powerful lobbying organizations in the country.
One of the most powerful lobbyist organizations in the country. And so I think this is all a song and dance, to be honest with you. Now, these people are constantly mentioning how commission's always been negotiable. But I'm going to tell you guys, the reason why they lost that lawsuit is even though commission is always negotiable, agents don't negotiate their commission. One of the biggest things that annoys me in this industry is how agents refuse to talk about their commission. I have had multiple agents, my own peers, lash out at me just because I talk about realtor commission being negotiable on my videos. I've had people call me at 9:30 at night going off on me saying, Travis, don't tell people that, don't tell people that. So yeah, it's negotiable, but you lost your lawsuit because of conspiracy. No one, absolutely no one in the real estate industry wants to negotiate their commission. And 6%, I'm sorry, I know my peers are going to hate me for this, 6% is way too much money. It is. 6% is way too much money to give to an agent for a product that essentially has been selling itself for the last 4 years. Why do you need 6%? But the thing is, guys, basically what they're saying is removing that information from the MLS. I think that's going to be a bad thing initially for buyers. I think it's going to mess with people's heads, and they're going to think that it's going to be easy to buy, that they can just learn how to buy on Google, like Mr. Watson has been saying. But the problem is, guys, is it's a double-edged sword. We have a lot of horrible agents making way too much money, but we also have a lot of consumers that are not purchasing real estate with fundamentals. So we have a bad spending habit in America. So, again, all I see so far is that this is initially, it's just going to hurt buyers. So far, that's what I see. But it also should potentially help sellers. But I would say if we really want to be realistic, the only thing that this law is doing so far, at least how I see it, is it's reminding America, specifically sellers, that realtor commission is negotiable. That's all that settlement is doing. It's just reminding people that it is negotiable, and it has been the whole time. And it's also hopefully shaking up realtors enough to say, hey, you better start negotiating or you're going to go to jail.
Now, to get reaction on this, I'd like to bring in the CEO of Redfin, Glenn Kelman. Glenn, thanks so much for joining us. Give me your high-level thoughts on what this is going to mean going forward.
Well, Redfin has advocated for 18 years for lower commissions. So if this settlement leads to lower commissions where buyers decide how much to pay their own agent, that is good news. I think there are many details that we are still trying to parse. It's 108 pages. It was just released this morning. But the fundamental issue around cooperation between the buyer's agent and the seller's agent on fees is one that we've been focused on for a long time, and we think this can make a real difference in how this industry operates.
How?
Now, Redfin has benefited because you have a flat commission that it's lower, and that's how you really market yourself. Is that correct? If you bring everybody else down into that playing field, does Redfin lose its edge?
I don't know if we want to say we're bringing people down. I think we're bringing people up. But yes, Redfin has a lower cost basis. We've always offered consumers a better deal. So this is the battleground we want to fight on. We obviously believe that when people decide how much they pay their own agent, they will be more price sensitive about it. We've already seen that with sellers. They are much more careful about how much they pay their own agent. Those fees have come down from about 3% to 2%. But buyers haven't had that same freedom, and now perhaps they will. It is still very much in dispute, Diana, whether the settlement will actually bring that about. I should be clear on that point, because some members of the industry are saying there will be other ways that sellers and buyers agents will be able to cooperate.
Yes.
But just ending that one field in the MLS should make a real difference.
You guys see what I'm saying? It's just ending one field on MLS. That's really all that's doing. The thing, again, though, that I do like is at least it's reminding America that it's negotiable. But again, this settlement is, in my opinion, it's completely ridiculous because it's not capping or setting a maximum on the commission. Again, realtors can still charge 10% commission. This settlement does nothing for that. And let me ask you guys this, and I've had people comment like, hey, we don't need realtors to represent us. As a buyer, we can represent ourselves. But let me ask you guys this, okay, and really think about what I'm saying. How can a buyer properly represent themselves when they don't have access to MLS and don't have the ability to review comparable data? They can't. In order to even understand, what type of offer to make or if a deal has wedge or cash flow, you need to have that access. And so what I believe would have been a great victory here was somehow getting the public access to MLS. You give the public access to MLS, man, I'll train them like crazy. We'll look at the simple math. I'll show you guys how to do this. But if you don't have access to that, and my training is meaningless, I can't help empower you if you don't have access to what I have access to. And so again, I think this is all complete nonsense.
But will it make it more competitive? As in, if I'm a home seller, then I can just say, I'm not going to take this agent unless you lower the commissions, and commissions could come so far down that it wouldn't be worth an agent's time if it got that competitive.
I think buyer's agents will still exist. People want to tour homes listed by Keller Williams, Remax, and Redfin. But the buyer's agent will have to talk to the buyer about what fee she will charge. And then that fee may be included in the offer, where the seller can say, I'm not willing to pay that fee. That's coming out of my pocket. And so therefore, just like any other term, the inspection, the price, when it closes.
Again, you guys, they're already doing that. They're already doing that. Let's finish this out.
The buyer's agent's fee is up for grabs. And that hasn't happened in my nearly 20 years of real estate.
So do you think this is going to lower home prices?
I heard you say that, but I don't think so. I think the seller is always trying to get as much as she possibly can. So my guess is that it will be what the market can bear, and the seller just gets to keep more of that money.
Now, as far as prices, I don't think that this law alone is really going to have too much effect on real estate prices. I think that we have way bigger issues in the housing market right now, like the greed, corruption, and fraud, and overwhelming amount of investing for single family residences. So I think that's the bigger problem. But when I step back and I look at this and I look at, each person involved in the transaction, I do think for sellers, it does have the potential to incentivize them a little bit more, because if they could now sell their house for 3% instead of 6%, that will give them a little bit more incentive. And then also it probably will curve demand a little bit. So I think it possibly will push demand. Again, all good things, right? But I just don't think this alone is really going to sink its teeth into anything. I think it possibly will help in certain markets. But again, I think the real winner here, you guys, is the new home builders. The fact that no one's looking at the new home builders is alarming to me. The amount of corruption and fraud and consumer distress right now in new home building is overwhelming. And so I think that, yes, we need to work with the realtors. We need to fix the representation. We need to fix the commission, but we also need to look at the bigger issues here: institutional investing, new home builders, and the lack of regulation and the transparency. The new home builders win. And with this settlement, I think it's just going to empower them even more to try to bully agents out of the transaction so they can continue to monopolize the process. And you guys, again, there is a lack of consumer safeguards with new homes. So I get it. We have a massive problem in real estate. I'm also not saying that I believe, okay, and listen to what I'm saying. I don't believe that this is good so far for buying consumers. I don't think most consumers have the desire to learn how to represent themselves properly. I think that everyone has the ability. I think anyone can learn how to do this because it's just simple math. It's a little bit, stressful, but it's just simple math. But the problem is, again, America has a spending problem right now. We have a horrible instant gratification type of habits. And sadly, and this hurts me to say, I just don't think that most people are going to be willing to do the work. I think that the strong people will, but again, those people could still do that right now. I think overall that this settlement is just to confuse us and to make it seem like there's massive changes happening, when the reality is there's almost no changes happening. And again, guys, I ask you, how can a buyer represent themselves properly if they don't even have access to the MLS? I think this is going to mess with people's head. But either way, I think that proper representation is important. These transactions are huge. They're $500,000 transactions. There's a lot of corrupt, greedy, toxic professionals. Even I myself get beat up all the time, and I've been doing this for a very long time. And so I am worried, you guys, but I definitely think it's going to potentially create more competition among realtors. I think that realtors will be leaving the industry, but maybe it's a step in the right direction. It's just so hollow, guys. There's no teeth to this, but I'm interested to hear what you feel. Comment below. Let me know what you guys feel. Do you guys think that you can represent yourselves in a transaction? And if so, if you really think that, explain to me, how could you do that if you can't even access the data? And also let me know what you think was good or bad with this settlement. I mean, the fact that you just can't put a commission on MLS, that's it. And then 400 million, that's all. We already had to sign buyers reps, you guys. We already had to do a lot of things that it's implying. So I just don't like it, but I want to know how you feel. Now, other than that, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you found value in it, please hit the like button and share with me your intel and your perspectives. And other than that, if you're out there investing in real estate, you guys already know that I wish you luck and I hope you win.